Welcome back to the glorious People's Republic of Rome. When we last left off, we had just defeated France and taken half their nation in a single war. We also held a vote on whether we were going to go east or west. And unfortunately for you East enjoyers, West won by around 12 votes, I think it was. It was 56 West and 42 East, which is a pretty convincing win for the East, for the Western direction. So today what we're going to do is we're probably going to go to war with Castile, Aragon, and probably Morocco as well. In fact, I think we might go to war with Castile very shortly. There's a large coalition against us, which has Castile in, and Aragon. So if we declare war on one of them, we could bring the other in as well, who we could then potentially separate peace and just take as much land as possible. I'm feeling like maybe we should start going crazy and just trying to annex everything. At this point, there isn't really anyone who can really defy us. There's Bohemia, they're the ones with quite a large standing army. They could potentially match us. France, of course, has been very much decreased in their power after losing half their country. Castile doesn't pose much of a threat. I wouldn't say Great Britain does either. Neither does Hungary, Bulgaria. Mamluks are pretty much the people who could still oppose us in the east. So we're going to stop being afraid, as it were, of the other countries. Not that we were really being afraid before. One thing we are going to do is restore one of the People's Legions, the first one who took quite a battering last time. We want to restore them back to their optimal power. Outside of that, we're going to continue coring and trying to oppress the various peoples within our lands who dare to defy the People's Republic. The War of Religions is currently started in the Holy Roman Empire, so we'll see if that spirals into a conflict. I predict Bohemia will just win. They are on their own versus the rest of the HRE, the Catholic League even, but I really don't think that's going to matter. Bohemia should just win. It'd be nice if we could become a great power this session, but, you know, it's a maybe whether we do. Because if we become a great power, we would then immediately gain access to we'd immediately promote to the military hegemony, which gives us that nice -10 war score cost when taking land. I don't think we'd promote to any others though. The Great Ming is definitely going to be the hegemony of literally everything else. I'd be curious to see where we are on the economic screen though. Are we more profitable than Vijayanagar? We might well be, although I don't think so. I think we'll be just below. We'll be just below Vijayanagar. I think we'll take third place as the third in the economic hegemony ranking. Surely something that we can fix as time goes on. Another thing we want to do is we actually want to start exploring the New World and see what's going on over here, right? I'm curious to see how the makeup of the Americas actually is. So we're going to start commissioning some explorers to go find out. After all, these lands may be some that the people will have to liberate from the vile nobles that have spread across the sea and begun oppressing people over there. Before we continue, let's take a little look at our control map mode. Control it's pretty okay, I think. It could be better, obviously. The main thing that's holding back our control actually is the fact that Rome is not a very good province to spread maritime presence from. Naples, for example, is a much better location to spread maritime presence from, but we're not going to change our capital. Rome is the birthplace of the empire, even if it's not necessarily as good. But we are going to try. There are ways we can increase the harbour capacity, and we will continue to do so by building certain buildings. In fact, I think there's one we can build right now. Yes, we can upgrade to this shipyard, which will give us an extra 10 to our maritime presence. Or will it? No, I think it'll actually give us an extra 5, so not that good, but we're going to build it anyway. Alright, I think it's time we go to war with Castile. We're not going to use a casus belli. This is actually going to be a no CB war. Why? Because the no CB is actually better than the only other casus belli we could get, this Cleanse Heresy CB, which increases the cost of taking land by 75%, whereas the no CB makes it taking land is only 50%, so it means we'll be able to take more land, and more land is kind of what we want, right? This is quite a large coalition. It says that we're on the weaker side, but I don't quite agree. Our regulars alone can probably just win this war. The strongest nations that are in this coalition against us is just Castile itself, and then Burgundy. There's also Portugal and Venice. Did Aragon leave? Aragon must have left the coalition without me noticing. Oh well. Thinking about it then, maybe it would be better to declare war on Genoa, because that would bring in Aragon, as well as Castile. And I guess it would be nice to clean up Aragon once and for all. Maybe we'll leave Aragon, I think. We'll just declare war on Castile. Maybe we'll make a cleanse heresy CB on Aragon and then go for them afterwards. So let's just do it. We'll declare war. This is what the war looks like. Mainly just northern German states, as well as Burgundy and what's left of the Italian states to defy us, as well, of course, as Castile. One thing that I think we're going to do is we're going to try and full annex a lot of these small Italian states that have dared to continue to exist within the People's Mandate. It'll, of course, increase the anger of the various coalitionites, but I don't really care. We will raise levies for this one just because there's a lot of enemies, so we kind of want our armies to be scattered around a bit. When it comes to our navies, I actually think it's close, but I think we're not going to fight. We're going to hide our navies. The Venetians are in this war after all, and their navies are kind of scary. There goes the first of the coalition knights. I guess we'll ask him to revoke his cause on us as well, and we'll take some money from him. Got quite a bit. There he goes. First victory. I've actually been thinking on it, and it feels like there's two groups that have kind of formed within the voting population, that being you. There's the restorationists, who kind of want to just restore Rome, and they see the Republic as a vehicle towards doing that. And then there are, of course, other republicanists, or Republicans, who they see Rome as a vehicle for strengthening the people and spreading their power around. Which are you in? We full occupied Genoa. I'm actually wondering what we should do with them. We can't full annex them right now. What I was thinking is just leaving them with just their capital and taking some of the land they have elsewhere. For example, they have these few locations here in Africa. Does this count as being a part of Rome? It does. So it'd be nice if we could take it. It is a bit cut off though, which makes me worry about our ability to actually keep a hold of it, but I think it'll be fine. We'll take it, and then we'll finish Genoa off another time. We've done enough damage to the point where Burgundy's willing to peace out. I think we'll just white peace Burgundy. We can't really take much. I suppose we could get war reparations from them, but because they're a co-belligerent, it's going to be quite expensive to take any land. Maybe we should stick with it. Maybe we should. What would we want? Really, we'd want their Italian lands that they still have, but as we can see, taking just this province plus this little, what we have of this would be a lot of points. We are occupying the land. It doesn't matter that much. I suppose we could just take this, just these small few locations. Every little helps, right? I think we'll just take that. No reason to be greedy just yet. Burgundy's time will come. When it comes to Castile, we've really just been ignoring them, letting them siege down this French territory. If they occupy, it doesn't really matter to us because it's not like we have this corridor or getting anything from it, really. Letting the Castilians ravage this land is really, is kind of to our benefit because it damages it, makes it less likely to rebel. Venice is willing to make peace. Can we get anything of note from them? I suppose we'll just try and grab something like this, I guess. Just these few extra provinces or locations. In a way, it's actually better to fight enemies within our own territory because of the way reinforcing works for your regular armies. They won't reinforce if they're inside enemy territory. So by staying within our own territory, we can ensure that we actually reinforce properly, unlike if we invaded them first, in which case we would be cut off from our resupplying. So this is what we're going to take from Venice, not a lot. Just a nice little piece. Take some money too. Right, war's over. Pretty quick and easy. We're going to take something like this. Push the Castilians out of Octane. We're going to leave them with this bit of land just because I don't border it, so I don't really want to take it for myself. So we're just going to slip down into northern Spain, take Navarra. Always nice to get control of that. We do have a little bit of war score left. We could take something in the Africa, I guess. Maybe we'll do that. Oh, it's too bad we can't get all three of these with the peace deal. Right, I guess we'll just take something like this, these two extra locations. Now comes a question, now that we've finally actually taken territory outside the boundaries of what the game considers Rome, we kind of have to decide what we want to do with it. Maybe I'll talk about that a little more at the end of this episode. For now, though, we've defeated Castile quite easily, I must say. I think we're going to immediately sweep south. We're going to start moving our army to Sicily. Well, actually, could we walk from here to our... No, we can't make it across. So yes, we're going to walk to Sicily, and then we're going to transport our army across to the other side, because we've almost got our casus belli on Morocco. So we're going to transport across and immediately jump Morocco and see how much land we can take from them. Here's our casus belli. We just need to wait for our diplomats to increase, and then we'll immediately attack the Moroccans. Alright, here we go. We're going to declare war on Morocco, use our religious casus belli. They've got 2 vassals, but I doubt they'll pose much of an issue. We'll just do it. We're not going to bother calling up levies. We really aren't going to need them. Our people's warriors can simply just plow through them without much issue. Ooh, France has declared war on us. Well, it saves me declaring war on them, I guess. What is their CB? Just a claim on our provinces. Well, our whole army's over in Africa for the moment. So we're going to call up levies, and they're going to have to fight a sort of delaying action while we continue our war with Morocco. I'm pretty confident we can do it. Does France have any allies that they've brought in? Or is it just them and their vassals? It looks like they have brought in some people. They've brought in people like Upper Bavaria. Is this not a coalition war? It's not a coalition war, even though it's pulled in the coalition. So we can separate piece the coalition members, which we'll probably end up doing. No reason not to. The question is, how much land will we be able to take from France in this war? Not a lot by the looks of things. We'll see when it comes down to it, though. Alright, it's time for us to grab another religious aspect. Which one are we going to grab this time? Really, for me, it's a choice between three, I think. Adult baptism, because it increases pop conversion speed, as well as gives us a little buff to our peasant estate. Appointed bishops, it does increase the power of the clergy, but as I talked about last time, that just leads to their power being put to 0 with no negatives or positives. And like that extra 5% proximity is so nice. And it will just stack on with our other spots where we've increased proximity. Outside of that, the third option, an obvious one, translated Bibles, because it gives that just 10% literacy. Ooh, it's a tough one. I think we are going to go for appointed bishops, just get that little extra proximity. It does push us a bit towards traditionalism, but surely that won't be a problem. On an unrelated note, you can really see how levies have started to fall off now. Look how many casualties we've done against Morocco just using regular soldiers. Levies really can't hold a candle to regulars at this point. And it's only going to get worse for them. Right, Morocco's pretty done. So we're starting to ferry half of our legions or so across the sea back to Sicily. Right, we're going to end our war with Morocco. We're not going to take that much, just this, which definitely could be more, but I'm a little concerned about the war with the French. As you can see, there's 369 of them, 1,000 of them, and only 20,000 of us. I think we'll be able to win, but we really need to get on top of it. As you can see, they're really swarming over the occupied parts of France that we've taken. So we'll bring our army back over to prepare to fight them in a more advantageous position for us. Even though France has a lot more numbers than us, together with all their allies, we have to remember that a lot of these numbers are just levies. They've only got around 10,000, around 15,000 regulars themselves. Since regulars have started to overpower levies considerably, it really shouldn't be that hard for us to fight them and beat them. Surely. The problem is just being overwhelmed, but as we're fighting in our own territory, we can continue to resupply our troops with our manpower. We'll just need to keep an eye on the manpower, make sure it doesn't fall too low. That would be the point where we have to start worrying. Look at this battle, feel the power of our regulars. 20,000 of them defeated and slain to our 7,000. We've definitely evened the odds a little bit, killed nearly 200,000 of them overall. Or we've only lost around 100,000 people. We'll have to start thinking about how we're going to punish the French for this attack on the People's Republic. The People's Republic is a peaceful nation dedicated only to freeing the people from their oppressors. Attacks on us are not legitimate in any way, despite what they say about us violating international law and being a threat to international peace. They call it peace, we call it slavery. The people will be liberated. We've surpassed France, and when it comes to numbers now, this war is pretty much a bygone conclusion. I'm thinking we punish some of the nations that have dared defy us, though. Let's see about cleaning everybody up first, and then we'll think about how we're going to punish them. First of all, to the nation of Tyrol, which I'm almost definitely pronouncing wrong, they have continued to defy the people. As such, we will revoke a large portion of their land and reduce them to just these 3 locations for now. If they continue to oppose the people, they will be punished further. At least now we don't have to worry so much about invasions from beyond the mountains, as we now control those mountains. We've actually reached that point that I mentioned where we no longer have the manpower to sustain our armies. So we're going to white peace Burgundy, even though I did want to take some land from them, but it is what it is. France, on the other hand, we won't be white piecing. We're going to need to fight them a little more and to retake occupied territory and to push into France itself. But once we do, we'll start taking land. I did want to annex Aquitaine, but Aragon managed to declare war on them and vassalize them, so that's not an option. It looks like Burgundy has actually taken advantage of our war. They've allied with Britain and have declared war on France. How awful. That means they're going to get in the way of us occupying. Thinking of occupying, what should we take from the French? Something like that would be ideal. It's whether we'll be able to. We'll have to see once we actually occupy the territories. I think we're going to take this. Taking Orleans will put us within striking distance of Paris for any future wars. There we go. we're now actually going to experience a few rebellions. There's a Patricians rebellion, which is 100%, and a Catholic rebellion, which is 100%. So we'll see which one triggers first. And it looks like it was the Catholic rebellion that triggered first. Honestly, shouldn't be a big deal. The People's Legions are already here. They revolt anywhere else? No, looks like they're all in France and some in northern Italy. Should be a rather simple matter clearing them up. Ah, we've unlocked the intelligence agency. Ooh. I think what we're going to go for is secret police. It feels kind of thematic for our People's Republic to use secret police, right? And it also decreases rebel monthly growth, which is a problem we kind of have with a lot of different rebellions all happening at once. So just decreasing it even a little would be helpful and nice. There goes the rebellion. Pretty simple. It's mainly just an annoyance clearing up these rebels. Question we have to ask now, are the Patricians going to rebel? It looks like it. So I guess we'll just immediately prepare for that rebellion. Looks like they're mainly going to happen in not a lot, actually. They're kind of just in a few locations scattered around. This should be even easier to clear up than that last conflict. We're going to use such aggressive terms for what exactly that was. All right, Civil War is over. We're continuing our exploration of the Americas as much as possible. We want to see what the powers that be are doing over there. We are actually now rank 7, which means we are close enough to becoming a great power. We're just 20 or so score off becoming a great power, so it shouldn't be that long. We're close to turning Rome into a million pop city. Fortunately, because of Rome's resource, that being wheat, they don't actually produce that much money. They mainly produce money through buildings, which we're of course continuously building and expanding. Oh, we're so close to becoming a great power. Oh, we're 850. We need 850. It's so close. We might just flip over the line suddenly. There we go, we've become a great power. The People's Republic is back. Unfortunately, Ming now has a larger army of us by around 10,000, meaning we didn't take military hegemony, but we should be able to. I think we'll expand and create another People's Legion. That would give us the extra 20,000 or so we need to push us into first place. Funnily enough, we're not that far behind Ming when it comes to the cultural influence of our culture. Just some more pushing and we should take first place. There we go, we've taken the military hegemony. Now we can take even more land when we fight wars. I think we'll christen this new army as the 5th People's Legion. We are going to have to be a little careful now. We're slightly above our army maintenance, so we may need to expand our army manpower production a little more. For now though, I think we're going to leave it here. The question I'll pose to you is, what should we do with land outside of what we consider Rome? Should we start creating sister republics? I'll give you 3 options. Number 1, we can simply give this land that we've taken outside of what is essentially Rome, hand it over to a native nation in the area and let them manage it. Not our problem after all. And this would help reduce the power of our rivals within Europe by taking land that they've got and giving it to the locals. Or do we 2, create a vassal in, let's say, these provinces, then we'll feed them everything in Africa we take, then let's say after 100 years, we'll give them independence. Nation building, right? The People's Republic is big on nation building. Thirdly, we can do as the other nations do and create colonial nations to govern the land on our behalf. It doesn't really sound what the People's Republic would do, but we can spin it. The People's Republic, they're more serious about nation building in these colonies, and through our colonial governments will try to empower or build a nation in these parts. What we'll probably do with the colonial nation, if we make them, is we'll make one for each area that we'll build. For example, we have Guinea here. We'll make a colonial nation that we give any provinces in Guinea to. But then if we make one in Nubia, for example, or Ethiopia, we'll feed them those whole areas. And the same, well, we'll talk about America when we come to it and whether we have a similar idea. So let me know what you think. Proceed to vote. For now, this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.